So this is a practice that is dedicated for those of us currently on holiday and doing a lot of walking around tourist sites or ancient cities or museums or whatever. Activities that generally are really fatiguing on the legs and on the feet, and therefore on the hips and the back. So that's what I'll be concentrating on. Problem with being on holiday as well is often you're in hotel rooms where there's very little space to practice, or you just simply don't have the time, or you're exhausted. So feel free to break up this half hour how you want, and hopefully some of what I'm suggesting for you here is useful. It certainly was useful for me when I was in Puglia for a week last week. Here goes. First of all, the feet. If you can, have a belt handy, and we'll do vajrasana. Always absolutely fabulous for relaxing and stretching out the feet, and therefore the front of the leg as well. So just spend a moment feeling the weight go down and the spine go up as per normal. Do a couple of sighs through the mouth, also to feel that two-directionality of the body. Let those shoulders just rip down. And enjoy the expansion of the chest as you breathe in, and the dropping of the weight as you breathe out. And as you spend time here, remember any problems with the knees, lift up the skin of the legs. And the more you spend time here, obviously, the front of the legs just starts to unwind and relax into this really fabulous position for releasing the tiredness that comes when you're walking a lot. Now, if this is going well, but only if it's going well and there are no real issues, you can make a little loop with the belt that you've got and actually tie it around your ankles. Make sure that the buckle is not in contact with the skin. So either have it between your ankles where there's a kind of hole, or just put the buckle at the back. If indeed you have a belt with a buckle, you might have another arrangement. And then you can sit down and you will feel immediately this is very, very much more intense. Again, lift the skin of the knees, because with the intensity that comes from the greater stretch as the ankles are forced together, you're going to feel a difference also in the stretching of the legs. So take a moment just to feel where you are. And then go back to doing a couple of sighs, feeling the weight go down as the spine goes up. And then maybe draw a little bit of awareness also to this squeezing in of the hips, compacting the hips, which is something I talk a lot about. Another way you can assist that is to grab the top of the thigh and just turn it slightly in. That really helps in terms of activating and squeezing those hips a little bit more together. And then you can interlace your fingers, bring the hands behind your head. Feel the 2 points of your torso, lower abdomen in, solar plexus going up towards the sky and back behind you as you exhale and bring your arms up. So here we're including a stretch of the upper body and the arms just to balance out the stretch, this wonderful stretch that we've brought to the lower body. Don't resist. Every exhalation, feel yourself descend as you ascend, and feel yourself ascend as you descend. Change the clasp of your hands. And then you can just bring your hands down for a moment. Interlace the fingers now behind your back. Stretch your arms diagonally out, like so. And again, feel the 2 points of the torso doing what they should be doing as you squeeze your hips towards one another. Every exhalation, allow your scapula to move closer and closer together. And maybe this will allow you to bring your hands a little bit further up towards the ceiling. And then when you bring your hands down, remember not to collapse at all your torso. Your torso does not respond to that movement. Change the clasp of your fingers, and then once more. Diagonally, going up towards the ceiling. Allow your chest to expand with every inhalation. Squeeze your thighs together. Don't lean back, but keep on pushing the chest forward and up. And then you can move down. And then exhale and start to bring that solar plexus forward. Now, if you've got a brick or a block, you could put it under your head. I don't have one, but that's absolutely fine. I can actually just bring my forearms down to the ground. Spend a moment like so, feeling my pelvis going in one direction as my torso moves in the other. Keep on squeezing my thighs together. Move my hands out a little bit more. See if I can get a little bit more of this two-directionality. Pelvis going behind. Solar plexus moving forward. Squeezing my thighs together. Breathing into this extension of the back. And also this widening of the torso. And then supporting yourself with your hands and keeping on thinking about separating the 2 points of your torso. You can come up. And then from there, still, for those of you with the belt around your ankles, you can keep the belt there. If you don't have it, it's not an issue. We're working towards having our heels towards one another, together if possible. But if you can't manage that, it's just not a big deal. Toes tucked under now and sitting actually on the heel itself. Try and just make sure that your little toes are also touching the ground in order to have as much distance between the big toe and the little toe as possible. And this creates this kind of delicious broadening of the lower foot, something that's really, really lovely after you've been walking in a museum all day. And then we can have our hands in a kind of cactus shape, bringing our attention to the 2 points of the torso, lower abdomen, solar plexus, making sure they're in line and leaving them in line as we bring our forearms slightly behind us. And make sure that those forearms that move behind don't drag the torso back. It's pointless doing that. You get no stretch at all in the chest area if you do that. So we want to keep that chest moving forward and up as the elbows, forearms and hands jointly come back together. Watch your breathing, throat nice and open. And then we can just come down and sit on our heels again. It's really a wake-up call, shall we say, for our feet here. So coming back to Vajrasana is almost a relief. Feel that relief. Breathe into your feet, the toes, the arches of the foot. Feel them melt into the ground. And then we can tuck the toes under one more time. Watch the little toes. Should be touching the floor if possible. And then this time we interlace our fingers and we bring the palms of our hands up to the sky like so. Remember, don't let your chest draw back like so. Keep the chest moving forward. Squeeze the thighs together. And then as you straighten your arms as much as you can, if you can't straighten, again, that's fine. You just need to release a little bit more in the torso area, the sides and in the front, in order to allow the arms to straighten. So if you're struggling with that action, really work that exhalation. Let the throat be open, relaxed, and allow the weight to move down into the feet in order to naturally exploit the stretch upwards. Change the clasp of your hands. Exhale. So the more you go down with your pelvis into the heels, the more you can expand upwards. So always this idea of two-directionality. And then bring your hands down and come back into a normal vajrasana. And just take a moment to feel how your feet have just simply transformed. The tiredness has essentially turned around and you're now ready to walk again. So keeping in theme with the feet, we'll be doing Adho Mukha Svanasana, but less from the point of view of stretching the back body, although that is really, really nice and quite a relief after heavy tourism, but also in terms of really feeling the action of the foot and the foot as a joint. So let's go to it. Spread your fingers really wide on the ground. As much space between the fingers as you can possibly manage. Obviously hands under the shoulders. Tuck your toes under, and then when you're ready, start to move your bottom towards the heels, and then on the next exhalation, just bring your knees towards your torso. Don't straighten your legs immediately. Just feel where you are. Let the air out. And then when you're ready, just stretch your left leg. And in doing so, feel that left heel near the ground, or maybe you're on the ground. So here you can really explore that joint, the relationship between the top of your foot and the shin. So here we're starting to close the normal 90-degree that we normally find between foot and shin. And then bend the left foot and start to straighten the right leg. And again, the same thing. We're wanting to, even by just a few degrees, close the 90-degree angle and maybe make it 88 or 86. So very, very subtle, but internally we feel a lot. Observe it, breathe into it. Come back now to the first side and make sure your heel is parallel with the middle 3 toes. So don't let it go to either the left or the right. Just keep it central. Symmetry is everything. Change sides. And then bend your legs. Look towards your hands. And then from there we're going to walk towards them, keeping our legs bent, and do a kind of strange uttanasana with your legs bent. Your head is really heavy. Watch your feet, they should be parallel. Feel the heaviness of your hands and your arms as well. If you can't feel it, a good thing to do is to take hold of your elbows. Do a deep sigh.
And allow the arms to stretch not only from the armpits themselves, but from the hips themselves. Okay, look slightly in front of you. Replace your hands down. Make sure the hands are symmetrical. And again, go back to having as much space as possible between the fingers. And then start to walk back. Again, adho, mukka, svanasana, legs bent. And we'll repeat. Left leg straight, foot symmetrical. This time you can get more of a stretch. If your heel is easily going down, you can slide that foot slightly back and you'll get more of a stretch because the angle will be more acute between the foot and the leg. Other side. At all times, keep the breathing as regular as you can. Back to the first side. Second side. And then we walk back in to the varied uttanasana. Take hold of your elbows. Make your arms really heavy, your head really heavy. Just drip down towards the ground. Sigh out. And feel the triangle of your feet, which means the base of the big toe, base of the little toe, central part of the heel. Now, if you find that difficult, lift all your toes up. And lifting the toes up, you're going to feel this connection between foot and hip. Hands back down on the ground. Walk back. Now this time we're going to straighten and bend our legs simultaneously. So when you're ready, exhale and just move symmetrically both heels down towards the ground. And if they don't touch, that's fine. Feel. And then when you're there, take a minute to explore what that lower abdomen is doing. It should be gently moving in towards the spine as per normal. And also take a moment to feel the solar plexus, which should be moving, obviously, towards the head. Bend the legs. Feel the relationship between the foot and the lower leg. As you extend both legs again, and feel the relationship now between both feet and the lower legs, and how different this relationship is. One more time, bend your legs. And then straighten your legs. Walk towards your hands. Take hold of your elbows. Hands on your hips, elbows towards the ceiling. Bring your solar plexus in front. And that should allow you to come out of the position to stand up and have a bit of a break. So I want to dedicate the next 5-10 minutes towards stretching the posterior part of the body, and we're going to do it the same thing but in 2 different ways. The first is with uttanasana. So we'll just get into uttanasana. Keep your feet relatively close together. Normally I advise having your feet under your hips, but actually have them so that there's not much distance, maybe a couple of centimeters distance between your feet. Spread the toes. Make as much distance between the base of the big toe and the base of the little toe as possible. Now remember, you can have any height. If you need to be high and supported, that's absolutely fine. If you can come down even further, that's fine. Just make sure that you're doing what's right for you. So we're going to start off and actually start to straighten our legs. So remember, I always say that the legs should be absorbed into the hips. So feel that the head of the femurs are really intensely moving into the hips. Remember, have whatever height you need under the hands. And just spend a moment breathing. And the more you move into this position, the more you can maybe feel you can intensify it. But the intensification still means that the lower abdomen is moving away from the solar plexus. The solar plexus is always moving away from the lower abdomen. So the two directionality is always present. Now, if you're down really nice and low, you can bring your hands behind your heels like so. If you're higher up, you can bring your hands behind your knees, or even higher still, behind your thighs. Spend a moment feeling this. This actually intensifies, or at least it does for my body, the feeling of the femur heads moving into the hips. So wherever you are, whether you're down very low or up very high, now I would like, without altering your torso, to bend your legs, leaving your hands where they are. And the more you bend your legs, the more of a stretch in the back you're going to find, from the coccyx right through to the head. And then you can straighten your legs again. Take a moment to breathe. Maybe change the cross of your hands. And then you can bend again. Use the feet wisely to keep your balance. Always return to the 3 points of the foot, the triangle of the foot. Straighten your legs again. You can repeat this a few more times, as much or as little as you want. And then when you come up, you can bring your hands onto your hips, elbows towards the ceiling. Bring your solar plexus in front so it transports you as you go up.
So we're going to do the same thing, but this time lying down with our tummy pointing to the ceiling. Now, if when you were standing up this was difficult, then make sure you have a large, thick cushion to support yourself. If it wasn't so difficult, then you don't need anything particularly thick. You might actually want to do this without any support, but just feel free to test as you go along. So we're going to bring the support under our pelvis like so. And then we can start off with our legs quite bent. Now, for those of you who had the hands up high behind the thighs, just simply do what you did before. For those of you who had the hands behind the knees, do that. For those of you that had the hands more towards the ankles, then just place them there. And you can feel that this gives an incredible stretch to the back. And you can feel that the stretch is not just lengthways, it's very much, widthways as well. The lower back from hip to hip, if you like. So breathe into that, melt that back down into the floor. Any kind of balancing issues, then make sure you raise the support. So put an extra cushion or something under your bottom. Okay, and then we're going to, like before, straighten our legs. Only before we were in Uttanasana. Now this is a type of urdhva, mukka, paschimottanasana, or actually it is. Use the breathing. And then you can bend your legs again. What you'll find is probably by bending the legs, your hips come more solidly down onto the support. That's absolutely fine. It is likely that you'll feel the organs in the belly as well responding. So remember to empty every now and then the belly with a good old sigh. And then you can stretch your legs again. And it's still really important to keep on emptying the belly, particularly for those of you where you'll be noticing that the belly and the top of the thighs are in contact. Nonetheless, if they're not, if there's a good deal of space, if you've still got a bit of extension and broadening to go, then still use the exhalation to allow the extension to gently take hold of your body. And then using the support under your bottom, you can start to come down, maybe take hold of your legs and cuddle your legs a minute. And then when you feel like it, you can bring your toes slowly but surely to the ground. Remember to support yourself by sucking the pubic bone up towards the chin as you do so. And when you're down to the ground, you can lift up your bottom and remove the support, maybe putting it onto your belly, having a little bit of a weight onto your belly. And spending a moment just relaxing. So a lot of these exercises we've done in other lessons, they're kind of the staple diet, if you like. But nonetheless, really, really great if you're short of time and really tired. The last one, really do if you can't do anything else. And again, we've done this together before, so lying down. Right leg over your left leg. You can bring your left foot towards the center line, if you like, of your body. And then on the next exhalation, lift up both legs, immediately activating the feet. And take hold of your knees with your hands. Keep your feet always active here. And every exhalation, you can try to bring your knees closer towards your chest and feel the elongation and the widening of the spine on the floor. Also the hips, this widening of the hips along the floor. Absolutely fabulous if the back is tired. If you're okay keeping your knees where they are, then release them, interlace your fingers and bring the arms behind your head like so. Bring your hands back as your feet come down to the ground. Uncross your legs, spend a moment feeling the results of this delicious stretch. And then try the other side. So left leg over the right leg. Activate your feet as you lift the legs off the ground. Take hold of your knees. Feel the floor really activating the back, ironing it out, widening it, getting rid of all the creases. And then when you want, you can interlace the fingers, change the clasp of your hands, and bring the hands back behind you. And then you can bring your feet to the ground and cross your legs. And then spend a few moments again using the ground to bring rest and repose to your back.